Greetings, my fellow freeloaders and Southern thinkers. LOT's Views Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mansion of South Florida. And today's date is Sunday, June 2nd, 2019. So let us begin. Oh, man. Not now. I hate when they do these delays, you know, we can't update your info. I'm like, great, I'm doing a show, you interrupt me on this. Good grief. Yeah, I'm just doing what I can, just keeping it easy. Summer is here. I would say in a couple more weeks, but it's nice and warm in Fort Lauderdale. And yes, I am at Squiggy's Pizza, located at 207 Southwest 2nd Avenue in the Himmershey district of Fort Lauderdale. Real quiet out here, but you know, this is how it goes. Everyone has a season. So, so people were asking me about, not asking, but keeping tabs on what's happening in Virginia Beach. Another horrific incident that occurred. And there's some little claims that it was supposed to be an active shooting drill on June 1st. Which is, like Mark Connie, maybe his name is, talked about that. Yeah, you should check him out. It's very, very informative. He does, like I do this really part-time. These people like really get into all this information and so forth, but I just do my bit as well. And we have to always gotta look at those areas. You gotta expect politicizing and have all these bobbleheads that government knows best will be the best remedy. And it does look like it occurred in another firearm-free zone by law. I have to say one thing: we gotta learn to liberate ourselves before bend over backwards to the state in a lot of areas. So we should be protecting our rights, not being the full-time nannies. And everyone has different lifestyles and so forth, but it is disturbing. And people have passed. Like, archives of all those individuals. So, interesting too about Virginia Beach, Virginia. I know crime over there is an issue within that town. So I need to look at that area aspect as well. And of course, I did write about him being an employee over there. So I was going to say how accurate the information they're going to put out. Well, we'll just have to wait and see in that. But if you're going to create a more police state ordeal or red flag laws, don't even think about it, because it'll be a burden on all the good folks out there. But enough of that. And this one just came out. Yeah, but it came out already. It's at 8 o'clock. It just came out Eastern Time. This is by Tyler Durden from Zero Hedge. Says here, new Snowden leaked memos showed NSA aided Israel's targeted assassinations. Now, if I talk about this, they may label me anti-Semitic in Florida, right? Well, who the hell cares? Let's read what it has to say here. A couple of new bombshell leaked NSA documents from the Snowden archive published days ago by The Intercept confirms the extremely close level of cooperation between American and Israeli intelligence services, especially as part of the so-called global war on terror since 9/11. The documents reveal that NSA even assisted in an aggressive targeted assassination campaign waged by Israel inside Lebanon, especially during the 2006 Lebanon War. According to the Intercept report, aptly titled "Israel Hated American Ban on Sharing Intel for Assassinations," so U.S. made new rules. Newly unearthed NSA memos reveal attempts to find a legal loophole to sorts on the part of the U.S. intelligence official, which would allow unprecedented information sharing related to a deeply controversial targeted assassination campaign by Israel. As it reads here, the The Intercept report states, as Israel and the Lebanese militia Hezbollah exchanged blows during the short-lived but devastating 2006 war, Israeli military officials used private channels to pressure their American counterparts in the National Security Agency for intelligence to help assassinate Hezbollah operatives. According to a pair of top-secret NSA documents, the NSA was legally restricted from providing such information. But after all, Israeli officials asked for an exemption. U.S. intelligence officials decided on a new framework for information sharing. We're exceptional, we're so special, the world revolves around us. Precisely. Essentially, the Israeli Signet National Unit, or ISNU, considered Israel's NSA, convinced their U.S. intelligence counterparts to circumvent U.S. laws and procedures regarding intel sharing within allied nations. To ISNU, this prohibition on sharing data targeted killings was contrary not only to supporting Israel in the fight against Hezbollah, but overall to support the U.S. global war on terrorism, the NSA memo stated. The ISNU's reliance on NSA was equally demanding and centered on requests for same sensitive tasking, threat warning, including tactical elite, electronic intelligence, and receipt of geolocation information on Hezbollah's elements. NSA officials wrote, the latter request was particularly problematic, and I had several late-night, sometimes tense discussions with ISNU detailing NSA's legal prohibition on providing information that could be used in target killings. From an NSA presentation on Israeli intelligence sharing published by the Intercept. This is relationship with the Israeli Signet National Unit. Even with this full understanding of the U.S. statutes, ISNU Commander B.J. Harari sought assistance from NSA for an exemption to this legal policy. To ISNU, this prohibition was contrary not only to supporting Israel in its fight against Hezbollah, but overall to support the U.S. global war on terrorism. The Intercept concludes in its analysis of the leaked memo that NSA officials have found a way around the U.S. prohibitions through the precise extent of its help in the Israeli targeted assassinations campaign remain undisclosed. The account goes on to suggest that the NSA ultimately reached a compromise with the Israeli counterpart by working with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, or ODNI, the cabinet level that oversees U.S. intelligence efforts. In the end, the article states a framework was decided upon by ODNI, or ODNI, that defined the parameters and methods of what could and could not be shared with the Israelis. The documents do not give details of this framework. The NSA memo recorded the Israeli reaction as follows. Throughout all my discussions, no matter what tone or subject, the ISNU stressed their deep gratitude for the cooperation and support they received from the NSA. From a NSA leaked presentation on Israeli intelligence sharing published by the Intercept, and yes, you hear a train going by. What did SINU want? Everything. Sorry about that. I want to make sure the train's going by. So, yeah, hold on. Alright, cool. So, what did ISNU want? Everything. Heavy Israeli focus on soldiers' conditional location, geolocational data, Iran's role in kidnappings, tactical elite, increased tasking of NSA collection, USG policy issues, geolocational data, NSA resources. Interestingly, one leak NSA presentation referred to ISNU as NSA's most valued third-party partner, but simultaneously acknowledged high anxiety among the Israelis, as they had heavy reliance on NSA for support. One slide reads, what did NSA want? Everything, and lists as issues that might prove legal roadblocks, the U.S. government's sensitive geolocational data and NSA resources, both of which U.S. officials knew Israel could use data to potentially track Americans. A lot of cloak and daggering going on. And you get the INS, you go, yes, we are special, we are exceptional. You know, that'd be a great song that you play, Creep, by Radiohead. Well, one of those things you gotta look at, folks, is just totally insane, I would say. And of course, it came out to intercept the documents. It came out May 29th to be exact. At 11 a.m. with their little relationship, and it's 7 pages long. And who are those guys? This is what we have to say here. Signet arm of the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, headquarters in Tel Aviv. Approximately 5,500 enlisted conscripts, 1,200 career officers. And it goes on. Initiated by CIA, 1950s. Yeah, so this goes guideline cooperation, representation. Yeah, there's a big list on here. It's like 7 pages long. So folks, you can 17, so you can folks can read this on your own. But the truth of the matter is, they want everything handed to them, right? ISG enjoys proper 9/11 type support. Israeli accept expectations versus reality. Reality check: Hezbollah well prepared, motivative. Logistical support from Iran and Syria, use in civilian neighborhoods, bad world press. So yes, so you can check this out yourselves. There's links on here. You can read it. But you know what? That's their own fight, not ours. Plain and simple. And the NSA always like to was buying our congressmen since 1952. So you know what? Get rid of all these clowns, as far as I'm concerned. And this war is unacceptable. And Snowden, I give him credit for this, putting the word out. Did I get him for espionage charges as well? I don't really think so. It's called the war on the press, folks. Doing his part right now, and it is very nice indeed. So, give him a thumbs up on that. And next one I'm going to be hitting here. Activist post, which came from Technocracy News. It says here, Opportunity Zone, the Technocratic Deception to Plunder America. Came out today by Patrick Wood. How much more financial plundering can Americans endure before Americans declare an outright oligarchy and the middle class declare dead? The Trump administration has aggressively teamed up with big tech billionaires to diversify their fortunes into underserved areas by allowing tax deferment on realized capital gains derived from liquidation of their core investments. It is a massive public-private partnership operation that could push as much as $6 trillion of unlocked capital in the areas that would be turned upside down and worse, inundated with smart city technology designed to create a data extraction extravaganza for years to come. Smart city for dumb people. Technocracy 101. New World Order at its finest. All hail to the Orwellian society. In short, this is an operation of big tech for big tech by big tech. But President Trump has aided and abetted their efforts to manipulate government rules for their own special interest. Undesired consequences will most certainly follow. Here's the introduction. When President Trump signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 in December 2017, few read or understood the small print authorizing the creation of opportunity zones. 1 year later, on December 12, 2018, Trump created and signed an executive order titled Executive Order on Establishing the White House Opportunity for Revitalization Council, which created a high-level committee that includes the very top leadership of the administration, the Secretary of Treasury, Agriculture, Interior, Commerce, Labor, Health and Human Services, Transportation, Energy and Education, the administrators of the EPA, and the Small Business Administration. the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors and the Council on Environmental Quality, and a few other assorted bigwigs. Yes, centralized government. Hooray, hooray. As I continue on here, the EO instructs the Council to walk across agencies to assess the actions each agency can take under existing authorities to prioritize or focus federal investments and programs on urban and economically distressed communities, including qualified opportunity zones. The object is to minimize all regulatory and administrative costs and burdens. Furthermore, the EO uses phrase public and private investment no less than 6 times and stresses that the Council must evaluate, whether and how federal technical assistance, planning, financing tools, and implementation strategies can be coordinated across agencies to assist communities in addressing economic problems, engaging in comprehensive planning, and advance regional collaboration. Yep, that was Mel Torme and Low End. There are 3 immediate problems with this executive order. First, public-private partnerships have developed over the years as a mainstay of the United Nations to finance sustainable development and, in particular, infrastructure that supports its sustainable development goals. Second, blanket cross-agency coordination can be a dangerous vehicle to create policies that represent no agency in particular and that no single agency would ever create by itself. Third, the term collaboration is a buzzword for collaborative governance that brings many types of stakeholders over the table to make binding decisions outside of traditional citizen representation on accountability. Furthermore, regional collaboration adds an additional dimension that promotes regionalism, that which is patently unconstitutional. Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution states that the United States shall guarantee for every state in the Union in a Republican form of government. Regionalism is not a Republican form of government. Period. And he's right. As it says here, Tax Cuts and Job Acts 2017. Opportunity zones were created in sections 38.823 of this 131-page bill, the summary of which states the section authorizes the designation of opportunity zones in low-income communities and provides various tax incentives for investments in the zones. Taxpayers may temporarily defer the recognition of capital gains that are invested in opportunity zones. Investments in opportunity zones or opportunity funds that are held for at least 5 years are eligible for capital gains reductions or exemptions, depending on how long the investment is held. The governor of each state is given authority to define the opportunity zones within their state boundaries, which are then submitted to the Department of Treasury for automatic certification. Zones are supposed to be on low-income or under-advantaged communities, but several governors have stretched the definition to include prime development areas as well. Thus far, 8,700 of these zones have been established nationwide. An interactive map can be seen, and the IRS Q&A page is here. Obviously, this is no small undertaking. According to Small Growth America, currently designed OZs represent 10% of America's landmass, containing 30 million people. It adds. It says here, newly created opportunity zones programs will likely go down as the largest and most significant federal community development initiative in history, with trillions of dollars in new private investment about starting to start flowing into pre-designated low-income communities around the country. You're going to use those areas as testing grounds and their lab rats. It is noteworthy that one survey of state opportunity zone designation procedures revealed that less than 10% of the states published their draft selections for public comment. Only 1/4 of the states formed a citizen advisory panel. Thus, the public has been largely left in the dark. The IRS issued its first set of rules in early 2018 with little fanfare or public interest. However, when The second set of rules were released in October 2018. Barn doors were thrown open, and a free-for-all began. New Orleans Advocate noted on May 19th that it is like the Wild West out there now. The article elaborated. It is not only the last-minute rule stating that has given the opportunity zone scheme sense of anarchy. Literally anyone can set up qualifying Oz fund, and there is no formal way yet for the government to track them and determine if they're directing investment truly deprived areas as intended. The Economic Innovation Group, brains in the lobby effort behind the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017, is now known to be the Electronic Innovations Group, EIG, which by its own admission was the original creator of the Opportunity Zone concept in 2015, paper-tiled unlocking private capital to facilitate economic growth in distressed areas. EIG voiced the idea that has been championed by a wide-ranging coalition of investors, entrepreneurs, community developers, economists, and other stakeholders. Subsequently, Senator Cory Booker and Senator Tim Scott introduced Senate Bill 293 in the Investing Opportunity Act into the 115th Congress on February 2017. Matching legislation introduced in the House by Representative Patrick Tiberi, Republican from Ohio. Oh, okay.
Supposed to be more exciting than that.
While both bills were struck in the committee.
Hey, they're gonna put up new lights soon in the city.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't destroy it yet, though.
While both bills were struck in the committee, the key provisions were slipped into the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which was passed and signed into law by President Trump. God bless fascism. All the clowns to their support. See, folks, right there, you gotta realize Democrats and Republicans are involved in this crap. So don't believe one party, blame one party or the other. Get rid of that faction mindset. It is very contaminating and her conformity. Alright, so I'll continue on here. Such a skillful, persistent, successful lobbyist effort begs the question, who are these people anyway? I'm glad you asked. The founder and executive chairman of EIG is Sean Parker, a well-known black hat hacker in his youth who co-founded Napster at age 18 to illegally share copyrighted music for free. Without authorization from the creators, at age 25, Parker joined Mark Zuckerberg in 2004 when Facebook was only 5 months old and became his first president shortly thereafter. Parker is credited with convincing Zuckerberg that Facebook could one day be something really big. Forbes magazine lists Parker as a venture capital investor and philanthropist. Excuse me, I can't pronounce these names correctly at times. Other members of EIG's founder circle include Ted Hewlett, General Counsel of Facebook from 2000 to 2013, Ron Conway, founder of SV Angel, and included in 2010's Vanity Fair 100 most influential people in the information age, Dan Gilbert, founder and chairman of Quicken Loans Inc., and a leading venture capitalist specializing in technology companies, Rebecca Lynn, ranked 23 out of 100 top tech investors on Forbes' 2015 Midas list. John Sandberg, private and public sector entrepreneur and investor. He is a board member of the Sierra Club Foundation. Wow. Of course, Dana Settle, former investment banker at Lehman Brothers. She is leading venture capitalist specializing in high-tech startups. In short, every one of these people are key players in the big tech venture capital world, especially on the West Coast. Furthermore, they have close connections with some top economists who are listed on the Economic Advisory Board. Jared Bernstein, PhD, Chief Economist an economic advisor to Vice President Joe Biden, executive director of the White House Task Force on the Middle Class, and a member of President Obama's economic team. Hooray! Hooray! And check this one out. Austin Goolsbee, former chairman of President Barack Obama's Council on Economic Advisors, cabinet members, and chief economist for the President's Economic Recovery Advisory Board. And Kenneth Rogoff, former chief economist at the International Monetary Fund. Talk about New World Order financially. Matthew Slaughter, PhD, professor of international business at Dartmouth, senior fellow on the Council of Foreign Relations Advisory Committee, and a member of Export-Import Bank of the United States, and advisor to the McKinsey Global Institute. Birds of a feather flock together, correct? The IG Policy Council generally follows the same lines as the Founders Circle, but for this discussion, it was one noteworthy member, Chris Camacho of Phoenix, Arizona. Camacho is president and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, or GPEC, which has used to spearhead a public-private partnership called Smart Region Initiative, or SRI. This is a three-way collaboration between Arizona State University, GPEC, and the managing partner, Arizona Institute for Digital Progress. Camacho is a hard-nosed business development expert and an unequivocal promoter of unconstitutional regionalism. One Phoenix Journal reporter, Camacho, is saying, no one market across the country has unified multiple jurisdictions. There have been strategies to do smart cities in various places, but we're talking about how do we connect the entire region. Indeed, the Smart Region Initiative is being built as the very first national attempt to create a regional authority to implement uniform smart city technology across 22 cities and 4.2 million people. National and even global eyes are watching to see what happens next in the Valley of the Sun. And if this regionalism take over is successful here, it will be used as a model for similar public-private partnerships all across America and around the world. Benito Mussolini will be extremely proud. While this writer intends to thoroughly cover the Smart Region Initiative movement in a separate report, it's important to see potential connection between opportunity zones and Smart Region initiatives. Both are full venture capitalists specializing in big tech initiatives like the Internet of Things, smart city surveillance technology, and most importantly, data, which many are calling the new oil of the 21st century. Both are new, riddled in the public-private partnerships, and promote similar unconstitutional practices. The counter-argument. Some will undoubtedly argue that these billionaires and venture capitalists are simply acting as benevolent benefactors who are sharing their wealth with poor communities, or they are merely seeking to diversify their investments. This is logical absurdity and terribly naive. For high-velocity money extracted from big tech, there is no return on buying real estate on starting businesses in poor communities. Investors always put their capital in the area of the highest possible returns. On the other hand, if data collection is the target, which is high return, then opportunity zones fit the bill perfectly. Who will manage the Oz funds? For most part, every opportunity zone fund will typically have a managing partner that makes all decisions for investments, structuring, and accounting. Investors will simply pick a fund for a fund manager in which to invest. Who are these fund managers, right? One needs to look no further than EIG's Opportunity Zone Coalition page to get the idea. This page has 49, which would be managers with names like Reinvestment Fund, Riaz Capital, Newark Venture Partners, Your Opportunity, Key Bank, Institute for Portfolio Alternatives, Fund for Our Economic Future, Calvert Impact Capital, Bridge Investment Group, etc. Some of these are very well likely end up with tens of billions under their direct management. And there's a link for that, so please, folks, check it out. And it says here, case study how Erie, Pennsylvania used opportunity zones to fund its smart city makeover. Yeah, Erie, Pennsylvania is not really wealthy town, I would say. On March 4, 2019, Government Technology reported that Erie, Pennsylvania wants to overlay security tech into a smart city, the article states. 8 opportunity zones throughout the city could soon see a new smart technology equipped with license plate reading cameras and facial recognition capabilities. Officials say the goal is to boost safety and spur investment. The Keystone State. Oh, the Big Brother State. Yeah. Additional security cameras, LED lights, and free public Wi-Fi were introduced to downtown Erie in 2018 as part of a pilot program for what's known as Smart City Technology. Mayor Joe Schember's administration and other local officials want to bring the same technology to local neighborhoods target for reinvestment under the Federal Opportunity Zone program. Schember, in an interview last week, said his administration, working with the Erie Innovation District and others, is working to bring secure smart city equipment and technology over the next 12 months to the 8th. Opportunity zones in the Erie region have been designated by Governor Tom Wolf's office and certified by the U.S. Treasury Department. All hail to states' rights. Flush it down the drain. According to Schember, that would include security cameras that could read license plates and have facial recognition capabilities, energy-efficient LED street lights, and free Wi-Fi in public places throughout the Opportunity Zone tracks. The intent is to make those areas safer and more attractive for investment. It is kind of an aggressive goal, but let's get these areas done, and within the next 3 years, I like to see that technology throughout the entire city, Schember said. Needless to say, Erie got the message of how opportunity zones could best serve its pressing need to get someone else to pay for a smart city makeover. Once a beachhead is established in a lower income area, which can hardly protest anything the city does, rolling out the rest to the city will be a cakewalk. Furthermore, the early city partners, tech providers, and investors would have their foot in the door and will be the eager participants. But why would anyone be eager to pour money into low-income or underserved areas? There are 3 good reasons. First and foremost, the value of data collection is found in all living human beings, regardless of their socioeconomic status. Second, the early bird gets the worm for the rest of the data plundering operation in other parts of the region, city, or region. Third, most embedded, the data stream continues to pump into the coffers of those who own the collected infrastructure. Throw them a bone, they'll chase for it. Ah, exactly. The peasants are coming. The peasants. Get it for the peasants. Yeah. Conclusion. It is time to face dark reality of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. The promised tax cut for individuals was largely a myth. Conversely, tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations were ostentatious. Just released report by Congressional Research Service confirms the most consequence, but the real tax rate for corporations fell by nearly half, while individual income taxes barely budge. Yeah, that's right. The key sentence in the report states, from 2017 to 2018, the estimated average corporate tax rate fell from 23.4% to 12.1%. The individual taxes percentage of personal income fell slightly from 9.6% to 9.2%. So it's like, no, we get the little cushion, and they get the big one. Thus, a Republican-led Congress betrayed the American people, and President Trump offered no reboot to get it right. Instead, he eagerly signed the Jobs Act into law and subsequently created an executive order to ensure the streamlining of its provision throughout all levels of government agencies. It should be duly noted with an alarm that this kind of globalization transcends the ideological labels of a Democrat or Republican, liberal, conservative, left-wing or right-wing, etc. Technocrats are apolitical on one hand, but will use or manipulate any convenient political platform to advance their goals. After realizing that the door was open for the rich to get richer with the Jobs Act, one can almost picture the resulting feeding frenzy of lobbyists to get their favorite loophole into the text. The Economic Innovation Group was able to claw their way into the mix to Wisconsin's opportunity zones on behalf of their super rich big tech venture capitalist cronies. To repeat the question, how much more financial plundering can Americans endure before America is declared an outright oligarchy and the middle class declared dead? That is a legitimate question, my friends. What do you guys say about that? When government knows best, it turns to crap. Hallelujah. Regardless who's in there. So please, if you want to impeach one man, you gotta impeach them all. Even the ones that want to go after one person, they should impeach themselves, but many of them are involved in this racket as well. The technocratic propaganda continues. I recommend everyone out there, if you hear anything in your local communities, your municipalities, or your state, tell them, hell no, we won't go. We won't do it. This is very treacherous. It can hurt every single one of us. Very New World Order 101. Prove me wrong if you dare. I would love to hear from you. Alright, I'm going to do one more here. Last but not least, this one came from the 10th Amendment Center.com. To the governor, Illinois passes marijuana legalization despite federal prohibition. Michael Bolden came out today. Springfield, Illinois. On Friday, the Illinois legislature gave final approval to bill to legalize marijuana for recreational purposes, despite federal prohibition on the same. The bill now goes to Governor J.B. Pritzker desk for signature after a hotly contested and end-of-session debate in Illinois, one prohibition legislature even cracked eggs into a frying pan to show your brain on drugs. The House of Representatives voted 66-47 to legalize recreational possession and commercial sales of marijuana starting on January 1st, 2020. The Senate had approved the measure earlier in the week by the vote of 38-17. Pritzker has publicly stated he plans to sign the bill into law. Doing so will make Illinois the 11th state to legalize cannabis and the first state in the legislature approved commercial sales. Vermont was the first state to legalize possession through the legislature, but not yet commercial sales. Approval in every other state has been through referendum. Additionally, under legislation, the governor would pardon past convictions for possession up to 30 grams, with the Attorney General going to court to expunge or delete public records of a conviction or arrest. For possession of 30 to 500 grams, an individual or a state's attorney may petition the court to vacate and expunge the conviction, but prosecutors may object with the judge to make the final decision. Despite these efforts, the federal government still claims the power to deem marijuana illegal in Illinois and elsewhere in the United States. Now, according to James Madison's Federalist Papers 46, taken, and Thomas Jefferson as well. I go on here, but I will continue. Taking steps. Illinois legislature first passed a law legalizing medical marijuana in 2013. Legalization of recreational marijuana through HB 1438 would remove another layer of laws prohibiting the possession and use of marijuana, but federal prohibition will remain on the books. However, FBI statistics show that law enforcement makes approximately 99 of 100 marijuana arrests under state, not federal law. Ending by most of the state's prohibition, Illinois would sweep away a vast majority of the basis for 99% of marijuana arrests. Furthermore, figures indicate that it would take 40% of the DEA's yearly annual budget just to investigate and raid all of our dispensaries in Los Angeles, a single city in a single state. That doesn't include the cost of prosecution either. The lesson, the feds lack the resources to enforce marijuana prohibition without states' assistance. With 33 states, including allowing cannabis for medical or recreational use today, the feds find themselves in a position where they simply can't enforce prohibition anymore. The lesson here is pretty straightforward. Enough people say no to the federal government, enough states pass laws backing those people up. There is not much the feds can do to shove their so-called laws, regulations, or mandates down our throats. What's next? Governor Pritzker will have 60 calendar days to sign a bill into law or return it with objection. It's interesting, and I say, you know what? Go for it. You got natural rights in Illinois. I believe it's Article 1, Section 1, I believe. Yeah, basic rights, or 2. It's in the Article 1 of the Illinois Bill of Rights. You know what? Do it. I commend the folks in Illinois, the folks that fought for this, and the people who voted on it as well. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying go out there, get high, or anything like that, and drive and so forth, or just to be logic. Respect regulations, conditions, etc. in Illinois. A lot of it's trial and error. But one thing I'm happy about, the drug war, the marijuana war on marijuana prohibition, war on marijuana has to end. And things are going great in due time. And even if your state has laws in the books, are certain like victimless crime laws,